because people want to see you fall. They want to see you fail. And so I tell them we're not defending anything. We're hunting another championship. We're hunting other moments.
614 Headsets is proud to be powered by Fundraising University, Ohio. Coaches, are you tired of slow, complicated, and outdated fundraising? Then it's time to level up with Fundraising University, the fastest, easiest, and most effective way to raise money for your high school football program. With Fundraising University, you'll run technology-driven fundraisers that are safe for your athletes and simple for your supporters. No hidden fees, no tipping models, just clean, honest fundraising that delivers results. Using our signature Blitz process, your team can launch a successful fundraiser in just 60 minutes. And get this, you'll receive your profit check within 1 to 2 days. No more waiting weeks or months. We offer it all: digital and hard copy discount cards and tickets, plus fan favorites like popcorn, coffee, beef sticks, and cookie dough. Every product ships straight to supporters' homes, no handling or deliveries for your athletes. And with our text to donate platform, your reach goes nationwide. And above all, safety. Every fundraiser is built to be safe and secure for your athletes and supporters, because that's something you as a coach can't afford to overlook. Coaches, if you're ready to dream big and raise more and want a professional fundraising coach who brings energy, connection, and results, then contact Fundraising University and Brent Maxwell today. Let us take fundraising off your plate and put money back in your program. Visit fundraisingletteru.net or call Brent at 740-501-8946. Fundraising University. Dream big, raise more.
It's a good win. There's a lot of people. It's like Woodstock, except everybody's got their clothes on.
Don't eat a damn snack.
You're like my wife when you get in space. You just get lost.
It's a hat! Short steps are better than long steps. That's the only time in your life you're going to hear short is better than long. It's a hat!
Welcome back to 614 Headsets. We're your show where strategy meets story. We have had a night, everybody, right? We have got some technical difficulties, both from a guest standpoint and out of nowhere. Of course, it would be Ryan Sayers who has a technology issue. As you can see today, he had to do it from his phone. So we'll apologize now.
Tough
if
day.
the video or the audio, show us some grace. We need some grace. All right.
But here's the fact, though. Listen to us. Hear me out. We are high school football coaches, like you just said, right? And we are fighting this adversity, and we are persevering through it.
We getting better. We persevered it, man. And I honestly think, and I would love some of our viewers to let us know, like a Coach Morrison who always give us that, or maybe even Big Bad Brad out there listening. I think Ryan actually looks better from the phone and the angle he has rocking now. He's actually lit up and we can see him. I even had a friend say, why does Ryan look like he's doing the podcast from his closet? Because it's so dark. So
listen, here's the thing, and people do want to see this face. So you have a point, Kyle.
I know we might be onto something. So like I said, we will apologize for that. But hey, this is an exciting time. We mentioned it later. We have the annual 7-on-7 with Northland and Hannah tomorrow. I can't wait for it. It does feel a little sad. I was a little sad that we're not doing an episode afterwards, like we've gotten a routine of.
We were talking about that with Chris. Chris is with me now, and Roberts was on our first one ever that we did, like with our little crew. It does stink. We have to find a way to get it rolling next year. But I also, our pre-conversation of our podcast today is making me think that we would not have time and be able to get that in.
Yeah, it's
right now.
A little crazy for everybody right now. But hey, Donovan, let everybody know what we're going to get into here on episode 86.
Episode 86 it's really a great one. Big Bad Brad put us in contact with Coach Mike Elder at the state 7-on-7.
There's nothing better than the Big Bad Brad. It's
going to catch on. It's going to catch on like wildfire, man.
But we got Coach Mike Elder, head coach of Avon, talking really all about sustained success in your program. For a coach in a program coming off of a 16-0 season, a state title, and a list of other accolades.
Talk about the record, though. This is crazy. This record's crazy. When you said it earlier.
Coach Mike Elder in his 18 years at Avon is 202-31. So an average of about 11-2, 12-1 every year. 9 straight conference championships and 7 straight Final Four appearances.
You want to talk about 16-0 state championship last year,
and the 16-0 state championship. You talk about sustained success and dominance. This is a great coach to listen to get nuggets when it takes that program, what is tips and tricks have been for team culture and processes, things like that.
And I didn't hear back from either one of you, so I just went ahead and dubbed it the algorithm of success.
I like that one.
We already know that Ryan's algorithm did something to his computer, which let him not get onto our studio.
Don't try to do this because you know that you're
the algorithm of success. So there's positive algorithms, like when we talk about Coach Elder, and then there's the Ryan Sayers algorithms, which nobody should see or know about, which clearly we have all discovered at this point in time. But
don't look at my
before we get there, though, it's the Max Effort Locker Rocker segment. Football coaches, listen up. You spend hours in the weight room and on the field pushing your athletes to be their absolute best. But are they fueling their bodies with the right supplements to maximize performance and recovery? Max Effort Muscle provides safe, trusted, and effective supplements designed specifically for athletes, trusted by Division I strength coaches and top college programs across the country. Their lineup includes everything your team needs to train harder, recover faster, and perform at their peak, from whey protein, amino recovery, creatine monohydrate, and NDR hydrate.
Listen, everybody knows football is won in the trenches. Don't let poor nutrition be the weak link in your program. Reach out to them today and get your team on Max Effort Muscle. They work with any team, any size, any budget. Visit maxeffortmuscle.com and email Tyler Treadway. His email is treadway@maxeffortmuscle.com to learn more about team pricing, partnerships, and get a custom package made for your team for as low as $250.
It's time to get going. And I have a good one, man. And it actually fits with today.
You better rock our lockers.
I'm going to rock it. Here we go. And this guy is known for rocking lockers.
Okay.
David Goggins.
Yeah.
Right. So I went David Goggins this week. So lately, getting to the gym every day has been really hard. So what have I done? I got a military rucksack. I got some weights. I got a weighted thing. And I've been pushing my son in the heat, man. You know what I mean? We're walking to the playground. I'm rucking with this big weighted pack on. And I'm listening to a podcast and he's talking about friction is growth, right? Friction is growth. And you think about that right now. It's the busy time. Players, you're having to play through the heat. Coaches, you're probably battling a bunch of things. Like we all had practice and just barely got on here. The easy thing might have been the night.
We both got construction at our building.
Both have construction that we're fighting through. We've got kids not sleeping, as we just talked about off air, where you're tired. And I thought it was interesting too, because he just said it's going to suck. You know what I mean? It's just like to change your mindset. Like you just got to get used to it, how it's going to suck. Things are going to be bad. Things are going to be hard. But that friction and getting through that, it's almost like you hear about, you become callous to it. The more you put yourself through that fire, the more callous you become. So I thought friction is growth, man. It would have been easy not to have tonight's episode or reschedule it. But I didn't want us to have a week off, man. We had a great guest lined up that I thought had this was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to talk to a really good coach outside of Columbus, right? And I didn't want anybody to miss out on an opportunity. And so we battled through this, right? And I think we're all going to grow from this episode.
From that friction. You should have ended it with, we're going to grow from the friction.
Let's grow from the friction.
There
Enjoy the algorithm of success.
Excited for this episode tonight, man. We got a big one. A legend in Ohio in the house, obviously coming off of a state championship. We were just able to talk a little bit about, he coached me in the All-Star game, which was super cool. In the North-South game, we always North. Now I'm on the South side, so I can't really say that. But like North, when I was on the North, we were beating the South. But the South now wins all the time in North-South. But Coach Elder, go ahead and talk a little bit about your journey and where you've been and how you've gotten here.
Yeah, started in high school. I went to Warren John F. Kennedy High School, graduated from there in 1989, and had a great career in high school. Lost 6-0, I should say, my senior year to Canton Central Catholic, and they won the state championship. So I was that close to winning a state championship because they went on to blow out the next two teams. Went off to Mount Union, where I played football for 4 years. My senior year was an All-American. We went 12-1, lost to Wisconsin lacrosse 29-24. I was that close to a national championship. And I tell my parents, they sent me off. I was the youngest of 3 boys. So they sent me off to school early because they wanted me out of the house. But I said, if you guys would have just held me back and that was the way I should have been, I would have won a state and national championship as a player. But clearly I couldn't win championships at the highest of levels until this year. I finally got that monkey off my back. But I started out my career at Alliance High School as a teacher and an assistant coach. My first head coaching job was at Indian Valley High School. I was at Ravenna Southeast for a year. And then I was at Perry, which is Perry on the Lake County Perry for 5, and now Avon for 18. So this has been my home. Obviously raised my kids here in Avon and going into my 19th season.
That's awesome. Coach, I heard you talk years ago to clinic, and I still remember. I think you, at one point, I don't know if you still are, you were like an assistant principal at one point or an athletic director or something.
Yeah, when I came to Avon, I came here as an assistant principal. I'm now actually the HR director for the school district.
Yeah.
Pretty fun deal. During football season, it's everybody's staffed. No one's lost their minds yet. It's a good job. In the spring, it gets a little hectic, and right now in the summer, it's a little hectic. But I love what I do and who I do it with.
Well, that's awesome. We congratulate you on winning last year. I know you've gotten there a lot of times. It's got to feel great to be so close in many parts of your life and to finally finish it off. And we obviously had a good 7-on-7 the other week, and I'm glad we could bump in you so we can make this happen. I know a lot of people are going to be excited to hear from you, but we're going to learn a little bit more about you in a segment that we call the Pick Six segment. Let's do this, Ryan.
This one's I'm gonna try to do this off the top of the dome here. I don't. My computer's broke.
We're having a lot of technical difficulties, but we're persevering.
We're persevering, so we're gonna try to do this ad read off the top of the dome. Kyle, tell me if I mess it up. All right.
All right.
The
Let's
Pick
see.
Six
This is a good
segment is
test.
powered by Storied Rivals. Sports media, championships, friendships, life lessons are among the most meaningful parts of the athletic competition. They are passionate about preserving them by offering the most unique highlight experience available.
That's right. Story Rivals delivers your team's content with services designed to change the way you experience these unforgettable moments now and for a lifetime. Story Rivals now offers a complete team apparel and player shop customizable to your program. Reach out to them at info@storyrivals.com to schedule an appointment with them. You did pretty good, Ryan. You had your run on. It's pretty good. If you did that honestly without the script, that's pretty dang good.
Yeah.
So I commend you, man.
Look, I'm telling you, I'm on my phone over here, so I can. How do I do this? I feel like an old guy. I can flip my screen. I ain't got no script up here, big cat.
I gotta be honest with you. You actually look better from the phone and the background and everything now. I think we might have found something. But what's your first question here for Coach?
Coach, if you were to be able to, you're the man in Avon, and they said, "Hey, we want a new mascot." What would you change the mascot to be?
Woo. I'd probably go with a Raider. I'm a very proud Mount Union Purple Raider, so we're already purple, so why not become the Purple Raiders? I would change it to that, no question.
I like that.
But we love the Eagles, so Eagles and Raiders, that's where I plan to be forever.
I love it. Coach, my first question for you, what was it like capturing that first state title in school history? Like, Ohio is such a storied state for football, right? But especially in the northern part, the Cleveland, Akron area, you get up in that northern area, like there's so many storied programs. What was it like for you guys in the community capturing that first state championship?
I'll tell you, man, it was, I always tell people, because obviously I never experienced it. I came close a lot of times. So we lost in the state championship game in 2011 here, and then Akron Hoban 5 times has eliminated us in the Final Four and went on to win it. So we've been close, but I tell people all the time it was a really cool moment. You know what I mean? And what I mean by that is I think it's a moment that everyone should experience at least once. It was really cool. But really the journey is the reward. I think about like all the stuff we did along the way and the fun you have when you get to coach with guys you call friends. Like my coaching staff are my friends. We're going to go on a staff retreat here in a couple of weeks where all of our wives, and we're going to go up to Kelly's Island for 2 days right before the season starts, because I literally get to coach with my friends and I get to coach a bunch of kids that I love. And my son's a senior next year, so I've been coaching a lot of these kids since 2nd grade. So it's just a really special group to me. And it was just fun to do it for them. But really the first thing I thought about was all those teams for 17 years who fell short. And when I got on the bus on the way home from that game and you finally could breathe, it was something incredible. I looked at my phone and I think I had 700 text messages. And the best part was it was all the former players just calling to congratulate because it meant something to them. And that was the best part.
That's awesome. You're muted, Stout. That was Sayers making that noise, not you.
I know. I muted Ryan too. Ryan, I muted you because you got to unmute yourself when it's time to talk because you're just going crazy. But what has been your biggest change or the way you've maybe evolved over time as a coach? You've been doing this for a long time. What's maybe something that you look back and say, I changed along this way?
Yeah, I learned football from a lot of great people. Like I said, Donnie Hertler's here. He's a Hall of Fame coach I lean on. Larry Karras, my coach at Mount Union, I lean on. We talk once a week, and I ask a bunch of questions. But I was raised with some old school coaches, right? Some people that just, you did it because they said to. Like when I was a kid and my dad told me to do something, I didn't ask questions. I did it. And if I didn't, there were consequences. And my coaches in high school and in college, when they told you to do something, you did it. And now I'm really into like understanding that kids now are going to ask a lot more questions. They want to know the why behind everything. And I used to think that was offensive to me. Why? Because I said so. But over time, you realize that you got to make it the kids' team. It's the players' team. You're there to facilitate the experience for them. And when they ask why, it's a really good thing because number one, you better have the why behind it. They keep you on your toes. And if it isn't you don't have a good reason, maybe you shouldn't be doing it. But I've learned to probably just change and alter who I am to survive. And then I've watched a lot of staffs grow old together. And I've been here 18 years. And I've got guys who have been with me the entire 18 years. But we've infused our staff with some young guys along the way as well, because we always want new ideas. Complacency scares me. I don't want to ever be complacent. But I think I've really just changed with regards to like the old school mentality. There's still some elements to that now. If you came to our practices, I'll still get after some guys. But we love our players and they know we love them. And that's why they want to play so hard for us.
Coach, you hinted a little bit on this kind of question. You can tie it back into that answer. But for you, being at Avon so long and having so much success there, what in the morning like really wakes you up and just drives you? Like, why are you able to continue to wake up every morning and provide the best coaching and be still hungry to keep fighting for state championships and helping young men at Avon after 17 years and being so successful?
Ryan, that's a wonderful question because anybody who knows about a high school football coach, we don't get paid much. It literally comes out to 10 cents an hour if you look at all the hours you put into it. So you better love what you're doing. And I think to love what you're doing, you have to love who you're doing it with, like I mentioned earlier. And to me, it's what I do for fun. I like to fish. I do. I like to fish and I get a little fishing in the summer, but I don't get a lot because football is what I love to do. I don't golf. I'm not very good at it because I don't put the time into it because I like to do football. So this is what I do for fun. It's not a job to me. It's something I do because I absolutely love it. And some guys who have retired, I've asked them like, how did you know it was time? And they're like, you just know. And I can promise you guys all, it's not time for me yet because when I wake up for football, it's like Christmas morning. That's how excited I am to go there and be with these coaches, be with these players, install what we're installing that day and get better. And there's nothing I enjoy more. So I think that if I ever wake up out of bed and feel like I have to go to practice, even one time, if I feel like I have to go to practice today, I'm done because that would be a disservice to the kids. But Ryan, I can promise you that ain't happening, man. I love football, love going to practice, love the people I do it with. And I hope to keep doing it for a long time, as long as they'll have me.
Coach, it's impressive, honestly, like how successful you've been. And honestly, today, I think you're probably one of the first guests that is older than Coach Stout on here. So that's another thing that's a little impressive.
He discriminates
you
against
have
old
more
people.
juice than him.
Yeah,
man, it's just a running joke on here with these guys all the time, man. They think I'm not even that much older than them. It's crazy.
That's funny.
Coach, my second question for you, I had to spin it a little bit because I figured being in Cleveland, you were Browns fan, but I like the twist. Steelers fan, Aaron Rodgers. Are you excited for this? Not excited? Are you still hesitant? What are we feeling here? Does it work out?
Well, I hope it works out. I'm a Steeler fan, but I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of the way it went down. And I always tell people in my football program, I want volunteers, not hostages. I don't want anybody. And I felt, man, we had to beg him to get there, and that's just not the Steeler way. I hope I'm wrong. I don't know the ins and outs, and I trust Coach Tomlin. He'll figure it out, but we'll find out soon. But I'm cheering for him. I hope it works out, but I do not see it working out. I think it's going to be a mess, actually.
I've been out of the loop. Have they re-signed Watt yet or no?
I not the last time I checked, they have not yet.
No.
Yeah, I heard that they're having a hard time coming to. I hear they're not coming together at all on that. So that'll be interesting.
Love that.
Why do you for us as the Browns fans? Yeah, but that's like the heart and soul of that team, man. I'd hate to see that.
I don't hate to see that. I honestly hate the Pittsburgh Steelers, so I hope everything bad happens to them. I hope Aaron Rodgers' first snap, he pops his
Stop. Don't wish that evil on anybody, man. No. Stop.
It must be tough to root for teams that don't have a franchise quarterback. I can't relate.
But all right,
Shut
Coach.
up, Donnie.
Last question here. I'm doing this every week until it happens. All right. Donovan's getting ready to have his first child here in the fall. And so we've been using one question from the Pick Six. You've been a father for a long time. It's interesting to hear that you get to coach your son. What's a dad hack or a parent tip you have for young Donovan here as he's going to become a father here in just a couple months?
Whoa, that's a good one. First off, Donovan, I've messed up so many things as a father. Like, I messed it up. And the other day I went because Coach Karras got inducted in the Ohio High School Football Coaches Association Hall of Fame. And he felt funny about it because I coached high school football for 1 year, but he goes to games every Friday night. And I was listening to Coach White actually got inducted in the Hall of Fame, and he literally apologized to his family during his induction speech because of being so absent, because he just was so involved with building a football program and running his football program. And he's at Hilliard-Davidson and had a great run there. And I thought, my gosh, Donovan, that's going to be me someday. I'm going to be there and have to apologize to my kids for being absent and not always being there. And even when you're home, you're not always present. So I would tell you, man, when you're home, be present. Be always present and listen and give them your time, because you can't get that back. You just can't. And the other thing I would tell you as a father, this will make you feel good, is they're resilient. It's really hard. It is really hard to completely screw up your kid. No matter how bad you are at it, my kids have turned out to be great human beings, and I wasn't very good at it. So give yourself some grace and know you don't have to be perfect. That's what I'd tell you.
There you go, man. That should be easy for you, Donovan.
Yeah. Not too bad. Not too bad.
I love it. I'm going to keep it rolling. I've decided. I made that decision last week. Every episode, we're filling you with dad hacks because I remember my anxiety when it was about a month out. I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to be a dad. And it really started to set in. So I'm hoping to, one, help you, but also I would like to add to your anxiety a little bit if I could.
I had no dad anxiety. I was like, run it. Let's run this thing. Let's get
it. Hasn't set in yet, but maybe throw in the season, thick of the season, week 8, week 9. But hey,
yeah, you're in the thick of it. I've had both of my kids were both December and January, so we were lucky with both.
You didn't have any anxiety before because all the anxiety was finding out you were gonna be a dad out of nowhere. That's where you emptied all your anxiety there, all right? But it's not about that. We got a great opportunity here. Let's get going to this main topic here.
The main topic for tonight with Coach Elder is sustaining success. We're going to get all into that. Of course, the main topic of tonight's show, powered by First Down Playbook. First Down Playbook is the nation's leading playbook and play design software with over 35,000 professionally drawn, editable team plays with notes and full playbooks. Start from be on your way to getting an edge over the competition. First Down Playbook, your entire team management and community management system with practice schedules, scripts, custom quarterback wristbands, and more. Use the code HEADSETS25 in our show notes or mention the show. You'll get 15% off. I don't say this because our sponsor. It's July. We're right around the corner from camp and 2 days. You still have time. If you need something, if you need a new creative spin, not saying this just because they're our sponsor, you got time with this system and it really works out for you. Give it a try. So again, HEADSETS25, that 15% off. Coach, we talked a little bit before show. We wanted to dive in and Sayers talk about the success you've had in your career in general, but as of recent in the past almost 2 decades at Avon, 202 and 31 in the last 18 years. All right. 9 straight conference championships is what I saw, and 7 straight Final Four appearances. It's a hell of a feat. And I guess the first question for you is just talk us through that consistency that your program has seen for almost 20 years with you there and your staff there. What have been some of those keys to success in your opinion? Is there any consistent themes that you've had over the years? What have been some of those keys in the past 2 decades?
Yeah, I think the number one thing for us is just maximizing participation. So we want to get kids interested in playing football. And right now on my team, 10 through 12, we have 113 kids out for football. We got 55 freshmen and we got 100 kids in our middle school program. And that starts with a great youth program. But when you can get kids in your community interested and you have the numbers, because we're a closed enrollment public high school. So you got to live in Avon to play for Avon, no exceptions. Except for if your parent works for our district, there's an exception where you could come to school here. But we then develop our players, I feel, better than anybody. Our defensive coordinator, Jared Cicchetti, is also our strength coach. He was a game changer. I hired him in 2011, I think was his first year, maybe 10. And I got here in 2007, so he's been with me the whole time. And we're building a brand new weight room right now, but we develop our players better than anybody else, because every year, just like all of you, at the end of the season, you lose that last game or you win that last game like we did last year, the seniors always walk off the field. It's a rite of passage. I let them go first, and then I huddle up the team that's coming back, and I always look around that huddle like, whoa, we're going to stink. We're not going to be very good. We're just not. If you look at those players there and had to play a game the next day without those seniors, you feel like you'll never win a game. But then you realize you have an entire offseason to develop these kids, and they buy into what we're doing. We have an in-school lifting program that's second to none. And we build our team through the JV players the year before developing the varsity football players. So I feel like that's our secret sauce, is quite frankly, we play seniors against other people's juniors and sophomores. If you're playing for us as a sophomore, you're generally a Division I player someday, because you got to be really talented to play here as a sophomore, because there's just a physical difference between a kid who's 15 and a kid who's 18. And a lot of our kids will wait their turn, and that's uncommon in fast food society. No one wants to wait their turn to play. And in Avon, we got kids who are willing to wait till their senior year to play football for us. And that's for a lot of reasons, but one of them too is we make JV football important. We play 2 JV games every Saturday, and they matter. Every coach is there. I never understood the coaching staffs who watch their 3 guys who have been out all night go and coach the JV team, and the rest of them are in the office and they don't travel to those games. We have 16 varsity coaches, and 8 of us go to one game, 8 go to the other game, and it's all hands on deck. And we're coaching that game like it's a varsity football game. Because if you want those kids to think it's important and it matters, we have to act that way. And the truth is, we love it and we enjoy it. It's just another opportunity for my coaches, young coaches, to call game, put ourselves in situations and learn just like the JV guys are. I'd say that's the key, keeping kids out and develop them better than other people.
Love it.
Hey, by the way, funny story, during COVID, developing that became challenging. How to get in the weight room. I told Coach Cicchetti one day, I said, hey, just give out our equipment. He's, huh? I'm like, give it out. He's like, how are we supposed to keep track of it? I'm like, just write it on the dry erase board, the player's name and what they took. And we sent all the equipment home with them. And I almost didn't survive that one. That didn't go well. We got all of our equipment back, but we had all this equipment in every player's house over COVID. It was interesting that we just handed it all out. They came and checked it out.
That's crazy. That's wild. But
we
Coach,
won COVID, baby. We went 6-0, and then we finished 10-1. We lost in the Final Four to Hoban.
That was a wild year. We actually just talked about that. We had Coach Hillrich on the other week, or I think it was last week, and we talked about like that season, how it was very different. And how I like that season, how like you never hit a wall. It was like you had a very short regular season and boom, you were hunting in the playoffs. And I thought it was just unique because we were talking about, will there ever be a different mold, or are we maybe going to change this 10-game schedule around the playoffs and things? So it's funny to have you bring that back up. But this is something on my mind, and we were actually going to honestly turn it into an episode, but I want to hear your thoughts on it. How do you measure where your team is at in the summer? I like this because most of the people that listen to the show are our coaches and a few fans and players and stuff, but majority coaches. And I go through this a lot as a coordinator, and I want to pick your brain. How do you measure where your team is at in the summer, maybe from an install or a progress standpoint year to year? Is there a certain checkpoints? Is it, hey, if we're able to do this, like how do you see where you're at, if that makes sense?
Yeah, I'm sure everybody does this, or maybe some don't. I don't know, but I don't know any other way. But for us in the off season, our calendar is created and it's out to the players by February 1. I have a calendar that's laid out from February 1 till the end of that next season. And it takes you all the way through the playoffs. The state championship obviously is the goal. So that calendar runs with every practice, everything organized from February on. I sit down and do that, and I actually love doing it. And it's easier to do now that you can move things. But in that, we have only 4 staff meetings in the off season. When the season ends, 4 full staff meetings where offense and defensive coaches are together. But twice a month, the defensive staff meets and the offensive staff meets. Offensive coaches can go to defensive staff meetings. They can come to ours. The great thing that came out of COVID is exactly what we're doing right now. We're Zooming. So they're in person, but if a coach can't be there or he's out of town with his family, they can Zoom in. And we spend a lot of time in the off season talking about personnel first and foremost. Larry Karras taught me at Mount Union players, formations, plays. So in the offseason, we want to know who are our playmakers. You can kind of anticipate who's the returning starters you have back, and you build your offense and defensive schemes around the talent you have coming back. And yes, we run the same principles every year, but the things we major in and minor in change from year to year based upon the talent we have. So the whole offseason, early in February, March, April, that's figuring that out. And then in May, they know they need to do a defensive take on, and we have to do an offensive take on. And so every practice we have scripted until August 1st. We're going to have exactly what we're installing, how we're installing it in those practices. And so we can have a pretty good gauge because we're installing it systematically. And then through it, we're watching film and we're checking things out to see if there's something we want to throw out. We want to add something different, or man, we thought that'd be good, but it's not. So that when we get to August 1st, our offense and defense is 100% installed, and now it's refining everything. And again, we tweak things and get rid of things if they didn't look the way we thought they would. So we have a pretty good idea because it's so planned out. Everything we do is planned out and scripted, every single practice. And that's done before we even get to June 1st. We know exactly what's coming.
Coach, with you doing all the planning and getting all the things gathered up, how important is it for your success, like that parent communication? And how do you really get that community involvement and get them bought into what you're doing?
Yeah. First off, I just had an email today. Hey, when's the vacation week next week? Because they know that you can take a vacation anytime in June in Avon football. You might miss lifting, you might miss a 7-on-7, but I don't care. Like June is available. July 4th week is always available. And then there's 1 week in June. And so our family's already asking me because they're trying to book vacations for next July. And they're asking me, but you get it out there in February and they know exactly what's expected. And you can't make attendance mandatory in our off-season stuff. In the off-season, we're going to lift in school, and then we're going to do speed workouts twice a week. Kids who are in other sports don't have to be there. But I always tell our coaches, we can't make attendance mandatory, but we will make accountability mandatory. Meaning if a kid's not going to be there, they better let us know why. Now, if you're on the basketball team and you're missing Tuesday, Saturday speed, it's because you're not expected to be there. And if a kid in wrestling decides to show up on a Saturday, we welcome them with open arms if they want to get a run in. Like during baseball season, a baseball player might be off on Saturday and show up at a speed workout. But they do not have to tell us where they're at. But if you're not in season, you have to be accountable. We need to know why. And we're not going to ask you questions of why you're not there, but you're going to tell us you're not going to be there. And we use that to develop accountability in the off season. It's, again, we've been doing this for so long. And I'm always at this question in my career is there's a fine line, guys, between what's enough and what's too much. And we're opening up against St. Ignatius at home, and we have to be ready to play them. And then week 2, we're getting on a chartered plane, and we're going down to play Spruce Creek, Florida, down in Port Orange, Florida, south of Daytona. And we're playing a team that's got 5 Division I guys. They got some dudes now. And I was talking to their coach the other day, and he told me, and they're unlimited in Florida. We could practice every single day if we want to here. And I don't think I'd like that, because if I felt like Coach Stout could practice every day and I had to play him, and you were, then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm not going to get outworked by you. So I love to follow the rules, and we have our number of days we get here, and we maximize those days in Avon. But I'm so fearful of not being prepared week 1. That scares me. It scares me to death. So we'll be over prepared for sure.
That's
all
the state
championship coaches. All the state championship coaches follow the rules to the T. It's impressive.
Ryan, I'm going to tell you something. When I first got to Avon, somebody saw us. I posted an old picture on Twitter, right? And it was a picture of us in helmets and shoulder pads. And it was an old picture because it was a beautiful sunset. And someone called the state of Ohio, and Bo Rugg started calling and investigating. You can't wear helmets and shoulder pads. I'm like, of course I know you can't wear helmets and shoulder pads. And our athletic directors, and why would you post that picture? I'm like, it was just a beautiful picture. I was posting it. Long story short, I told our athletic director, I snickered at him, and he said, what's so funny? I said, we've arrived. Someone finally cares what we're doing over at Avon. So the truth is, when we weren't very good, we could have broke the rules and got away with it. When you're winning, everybody's watching you, my friend. So you really do have to follow those rules, if I'm being honest. We don't have.
I'm gonna have to let my brother know. My brother's the head compliance officer for OHSA.
There you go. Tell him Avon's compliant. That's what you tell him, Ryan.
That's what I'm going to tell him. I'm going to let him know, because these Gahanna Lincoln Lions are a little different down here.
Don't start.
I truly believe Avon is doing the right things.
Speaking of, this is a first year that we're using less days. We looked at it as where we've been
never about the days. It's more about the transfers and stuff, but continue.
Oh, my God. Is this what this podcast is always going to turn into? As for the official record, just like Avon, we also are a closed district, and they move in and we go through all the compliance Your brother knows that. We've been through that, right? So don't even try to start about the Gahan Alliance. I cannot wait to play you tomorrow morning. Now. I cannot wait to
I
play
knew
you
that was
tomorrow
coming.
morning. Right?
We
Like
have a 7 on. Coach Elder, we have a 7 on against each other tomorrow. So I knew that was coming.
Yeah.
I've been waiting.
It's going to be all gas on you because of that that comment, man. Oh, I can't wait. But Coach, I had another interesting thing because we've been not to the same level as what you've done at Avon, which is so impressive, which we mentioned. But we've won a few conference championships in a row, had a regional championship, and we just felt like maybe there was some complacency that had settled in with our classes. And you listen to Nick Saban, and he called it like relief syndrome. Like you win a championship or you win a big game, and you get that relaxation, right? In your time or with your experience, because I don't know if there's anybody better we could ask, like, how do you combat that complacency or that relief syndrome?
For us, it was easy because we kept losing that last game of the year, whether it was in the Final Four state championship. And that's a great motivator because you want to finish it. And this is the first time we actually finished it. We started in January, I had a meeting with all the seniors, and we kind of laid out that calendar I tell you guys about. They get to decide and we help build it. So all of our workouts are start at 6 a.m. or 6:30 or 7, depending on your age or position group in Avon. And if our kids ever decided, hey, we want to do this at 11, 12 later, I'd let them do it. They get some say in how we build the schedule. But we sat down, and Ohio State did it this year. They talked about the storm is coming and the foundation. And I found the picture of a lighthouse where the storm's crashing over that. And we talked a lot about early on, and we continue to talk about it this offseason about how the storm's coming. You go 16-0, win the school's first ever state championship. You cannot duplicate that. Even if we went 16-0 and won another one next year, it's not duplicated because it's not the first ever. And it's just so difficult because if we lose a game in Avon, everybody's talking about it. It's going to be headline news the first game we lose. And my question to our team is, how are you going to handle that? Are we going to be strong enough to handle that? Because people want to see you fall. They want to see you fail. And so I tell them we're not defending anything. We're hunting another championship. We're hunting other moments. Like the first moment is win that game against Ignatius at home, win that conference championship, beat your rivals, make the playoffs. Those are all moments we're chasing. And then we're going to try to collect a regional championship as a moment. And then if everything's comes into fruition, then we collect that moment of a state championship. But you can't just make that the goal. Everyone uses the word process, but it is process. But we just got to get better every day. And I think our seniors understand that. But I'm setting them up for the motivation of when something doesn't go well, when we do lose a game. If we finish 7-3, are we going to be an easy out in the first round or the second? Oh, we went 7-3. Or are we going to be that team that, man, we got to get by Avon to get where we want to be? And so I'm already preparing them. I hope we win every game, but our goal's never been to be 10-0. Our goal's always been to win the last one. And we never did it until this past year. I might not be the best guy to talk to about. There's a lot of guys who won multiple state championships. But I can tell you this, we're really trying to be conscientious about making the important things important and not just pointing to the end next year, because the reward truly is in the journey, guys. It is. If you don't win the state championship, it doesn't mean it's an unsuccessful season, because to me, it's all about relationships. And this team is pretty darn close, and I'm excited for them. I just want to make sure they can handle failure. Losing in that state 7-on-7 state championship game, when the ball hit the ground at the end on the Hail Mary and it fell out, I thought we won. I thought he came down with that. I'm like, oh my gosh. And then when he didn't, a little smile came over my face, because for my guys, that's the first time in a really long time that they felt disappointment after any type of competition. So that was healthy for us. And if we lose a game during the regular season, it's going to be healthy for us. I really believe that.
I like it. Coach, I had one more question. I know Ryan has another one, and I didn't throw in any questions about the Rimco brothers because I'm sure that it's not appropriate for this podcast. But Alex says hi, very small world. But how do you? It wasn't on the script, but just made the big news. We had an episode about it a couple weeks ago. A little off topic, but how do you view some of these changes to the state playoffs? You've seen a bunch of these changes over your career in Ohio, right? This is a pretty big one when it comes to shrinking the playoff field back down, adding bye weeks for top seeds. You have any thoughts on that? Anything that came to your mind when you first saw those changes?
Yeah, honestly, I like it, Donovan. I felt like when they put out a survey through the Ohio Football Coaches Association the first time when they were going to expand, and this is what we voted on as an association, is 12, giving the first 4 teams a bye. I thought that was a comfortable expansion. but still made the playoffs meaningful, in my humble opinion. There's a lot of 1 versus 16 seeds, and I've talked to the coaches who are 16 seeds who want nothing to do with those games. You know what I mean? This isn't basketball. This isn't baseball. Like, you can put kids in harm's way with lopsided games. Now, I know there's always an anomaly, and there's always that. Heck, we had one the other day. St. John Jesuits showed up, and our quarterback 2 years ago was hurt. My son was a sophomore, was the quarterback in that game. He, instead of spiking the ball right before the end of half when we were winning 7-0, we could have winning 10-0, took a knee. I was like, what the heck? It was a sophomore trying to figure it out. And that game ended up, I think, 28-0, but it was a hard fought battle. But that's not normally what happens. It's usually 60-0, 50-0. It's a running clock. And those teams might have won their last 2 games. Maybe they had some momentum going. They were 3-5, won 2 games. They could finish their season 5-5, but instead you got to go to play the number 1 seed. I don't think that's a reward. So I really like it. And I think that having gone 16 weeks this past year, the reason we won the state championship is we were good, but we were also lucky. We avoided the big time injuries. We stayed relatively healthy. We build it that way here. We play a lot of guys. We're playing 17, 18 guys on offense and defense every week. Early on, you got to do it because of the heat. And later on, you got to do it because it's a long season, man. And you got dads who are like, hey, play my kid both ways. I played both ways. I'm like, yeah, everybody ran the ball. And there was like 35, 40 snaps in a damn game. Like, now there's a lot of snaps in a football game. So to answer your question, I love it. I love the bye. With that being said, Avon will probably be the 13th seed and not make the playoffs this year. It would be terrible. Or we'll finish 5th and not get a bye. But as the way it would be, I would welcome that bye personally.
Muted, Coach Sayers.
Coach, since you just brought that up and you'd welcome the bye, we had this question come up, and then I'm going to ask you my other final question. But are you able to say you get a first-round win in the playoffs if you get a first-round bye?
I don't think so. I don't think you can count that. No.
All right. We're just curious.
You can't put that on your career record. I think
that's what Ryan's playing for. I'm just telling you right now. It's his loaded question he's playing for.
I like it.
Ryan, you get the bye. Ryan, I'll say it right now. You get the bye. We'll get T-shirts made that say first ever playoff win. And it'll be a 614 Headsets branded shirt. We'll sell them.
Buddy, I already have those printed. No, that's good. Hey, Coach, one last thing I just want to know is, like, those towns, I feel like when I came down to Columbus, it was just way different type of football because of just a ton of different reasons. There's just so much population down here, so many people who just like such big areas. I feel like in Northeast Ohio, being up there, it's like it's small town feel. And so for me, what I'm curious about is what's something that's super unique about Avon. It could be about their town, what they do for the football program, something they do for you guys. What's one thing that's super unique to you guys that you're just like, man, I love that we do this?
Yeah, it's crazy. And you guys I'm from Warren, Ohio. I grew up in Warren. I grew up in the inner city. And so I'm not a suburban guy. And I always felt like when I was a young coach, I aspired to be the coach at McKinley, Massillon, Warren Harding. Those were dream jobs for me. And I look at where we are now in Avon, and we can compete with all those guys, right? We beat McKinley the last 2 years in the regular season. We scrimmage Massillon every year to start out the year. And now we won a state championship in Avon. And so I truly feel like I have the best job in Ohio. And the truth is, my parents support their kids. They want their kids to be successful young men. And that's what we sell. Like, football is the most important class your kid can take in high school because we're going to teach them so many life lessons. But they're not so all into it to where it's unhealthy. You know what I mean? They support their kids. They support the program, but they're not over the top. I don't have to go sit in front of a quarterback club and be questioned on everything we do in our program. As a matter of fact, I make it very clear. If you don't play for us and you don't coach for us, you don't get a vote. I don't care what you think. You don't get a vote. You know, your kids do because they're in the program. They get a say. Our coaches do because they're putting in the time. Everyone else, we appreciate your support. So what's unique to us, quite honestly, is they have other things that are important to them, and they just want to see their kids be successful. And we have a nice mix. We have old school, old Avon, which is more rural in nature. We have the suburban element. We have some inner city element to Avon as well. So it's a nice mix. And I feel the best part about football is it doesn't care how much money you have, what color you are. And when you're in that huddle, it's how much you love your brother and how much you're willing to give for them. And our kids are bonded by this game and friendships that normally wouldn't occur outside of football but you have them now because of what this game does. So it's pretty neat in that they support sports here, but our home games are awesome. Like our student section's right on the field. It's become an event, but it's every bit to them as much about the student marching band, the student section. It's just a cool event. It's where you want to come and just hang out on Friday nights in Avon.
No, man, that's awesome. Hey, Coach, thank you so much, man. Honestly, taking time out of your busy schedule, man, and hopping on here with us, especially this late right now in July. I think last month we were joking about this, Kyle. We look at the month of June, you're like, oh, it's only June. We're okay. We're okay. Like when you're at practice. And like today, we were standing on the practice field right before we were leaving. And my O-line coach and running back coach were like, we're not okay. Like it is July now, and I was like, man, we're good. We still got a whole nother month, boys. Like we got to keep pushing. But like we just, it is a wild time. Football is crazy right now, so we appreciate you hopping on here. If you guys are listening, download, subscribe. Make sure you give us any suggestions. The season is coming to an end here quickly too. I know our schedules are getting filled up, so if you guys want to hear about anything, make sure you get it to us.
It's almost time for the all-gas teams.
Yep, the all-gas teams are coming out soon. But, Coach Elder, thank you so much, man. You're the man. We appreciate you.
Hey, thank you, guys. You guys do a great job, man. Ryan, where are you coaching at? I don't know where you're
Northland High School in Columbus.
Northland. And what about you, Donovan?
Gannett Lincoln. Coach Stout's my boss.
Oh, nice. I love it. Love it.
It ain't that serious, man. But Coach, we appreciate you, man. We wish you a lot of luck, and we appreciate it, man.
Yeah, best of luck to you guys. Thanks a lot.